basically our watershed team leaders. If you need them, they're here to help you. So we are recording this just for anyone that was not able to attend. They can look back at this or you can as a reference. So as I hope you know, the sewer district updated Title III Code of Regulations, which deals with our local sanitary sewer system, and Title IV, which is our combined sewer system. And when we updated those titles, it became apparent that we also needed to update the community discharge permit. So we have done that. That permit was issued on September 17th of this year. And part of the new permit is creating a community compliance plan that is due on March 17th. So wanted to get before you with the holidays coming. If your family's anything like mine, they'll be asking about the permit at the Christmas dinner table. So I wanted to make sure that you were prepared to have that conversation. So as we move forward with the permit, it's really doesn't look a whole lot different from the way the permit did before. It's the same information that we are requiring of you. It's just we separated it into two main buckets. You have what we are going to be regulating our member communities on, and then what is part of the Water Quality Technical Support Program, which is regulated by others, which we are supporting. So the permit, the main focus is going to be mitigating areas of excessive I&I. Now, we recognize that water quality problems are mainly because of excessive I&I. And this is unmetered flow that is taking up capacity within the system and also at our wastewater treatment plants. So we want to see this excessive I&I addressed. As I mentioned, you'll be required to create a 5-year community compliance plan. And this compliance plan is simply telling us how you're going to comply with the permit. How you're going to get projects done, how you're going to ensure that the system is functioning the way that it should be. We ask that you continue to submit plans for review, specifically in the combined sewer areas. Continue with best management practices. Report your dry weather overflows, which you're required to do to the Ohio EPA. We ask that we are CC'd on that. And then continue with your record keeping on any changes within the local system. So as I mentioned, the community compliance plan, we want to know what is your process? What are the regulations and ordinances that ensure community compliance? What is the community's process in notifying the sewer district of overflows? So most of this already exists. We're not recreating the wheel here. We just want it documented so that we know exactly how that process is or what that ordinance is. We want to know what the best management practices are for that local sewer system. And then how will you be mitigating against these areas of excessive I&I? So the new bucket, if you will, is the Water Quality Technical Support Program. So these water quality issues, SSOs, IDDEs, basement backups, failing septic systems, these are regulated by others. Now, all of these issues were part of your permit before, where you had to report on them and address them. But what we recognize is that they are regulated by others, and we did not want to be another layer of bureaucracy on top of that. We still want our member communities to be working on addressing these. But what we are deciding to do is use the carrot as opposed to the stick. So we're making it optional. If you choose not to report out these water quality problems to us, then that's your choice. but the carrot's going to be the eligibility for MCIP funding. So if you continue to provide us this information, as you have been doing, you will be eligible for MCIP funding to address work within that your local system. And with the compliance plan and the water quality technical support program, that water quality technical support program is an add-on to the compliance plan, if you will. It provides us that information on those water quality problems that exist within your community and what you're doing about addressing those. If you were to choose not to participate in the water quality technical support program, then again, you would not be eligible for MCIP funding, and you're choosing not to share with us those water quality problems. So when we ask for you to come up with projects in your compliance plan, our focus is going to be just the areas of excessive I&I. So we don't want to see projects about IDDEs or SSOs because you're not providing us that information. We simply want to see projects that are going to address the areas of excessive I&I. Now, if you participate in the water quality technical support program, you're choosing to share those problems with us, and thus it opens up projects to problems as opposed to just excessive I&I. And here we want you to identify to us what the community's priorities are. If you have an area of excessive I&I, however, there's another street that has chronic basement backups, and that's a top priority for you, then that's what we want you to work on. If you're participating in the Water Quality Technical Support Program, then go do that work to address basement backups, address that problem, and you can provide us that information that that is your priority. If you are not, again, participating in the Water Quality Technical Support Program, then your priority is going to be that area of excessive I&I. So again, I just want to make this super clear. You need to participate in the Water Quality Technical Support Program to be eligible for MCIP funding. So really the goal behind all of this is to sustain and improve the local sewer infrastructure. Our member communities own and operate over 3,000 miles of local sewers. The sewer district owns and operates over 300 miles on our 3 wastewater treatment plants. We need to work together cooperatively to ensure that the system as a whole functions the best that it can. We've already invested heavily within the local system through the local sewer system evaluation studies. Those are the LSSCSs. We flow monitored and modeled the entire local system within our service area and provided community reports to all of our member communities. We look for this to be the basis for you coming up with your compliance plan and your priorities. And we hope that in creating your compliance plan, along with the Water Quality Technical Support Program, that this will not only open you up to MCIP funding, but hopefully outside funding as well. In identifying your priorities over the next 5 years through your compliance plan, we hope that this will better align you to get outside funding, such as Water Pollution Control Loan Fund, DOPWIC funding, or any other funding that might come on down the line. We want you to be ready with your plan and your priorities to go get that funding to address your local sewer system issues. I already mentioned the LSSCSs. These studies were done just a few years ago. You can see them here highlighted. Every member community should have received their community report that identified problems within the local system and also came up with high-level solutions. So we hope that you will use this as a starting point in developing your compliance plan. However, we do recognize that these reports and this data is starting to get a little bit old. So it is by no means the end all be all. If you have additional information, newer information, then please use that. But we have provided at the minimum, the LSSCS community report identifying those problems and high level solutions to kickstart you in creating your compliance plan. Don't forget your resource that is the watershed team leader, and Donna, Cisco, Nicole. They are there to help you. They are the one-stop shop here at the sewer district. So if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to reach out to your watershed team leader. I am available to help as well. But if you think anything district related, you have a question, please reach out to your watershed team leader. Now, some folks have asked, can they use community cost share funds to do community discharge permit work? And the answer to this is maybe. So you're going to have to work with your watershed team leader closely on this one, because community cost share funds have to be used only for stormwater related work. And so you might have to dive into a project and pull out specific tasks and items that are eligible, where some other items within that project are not eligible for. So if you're thinking about using community cost share funds, you need to have an in-depth conversation with your watershed team leader to make sure that it is an eligible use of those funds. Now, the brilliant people here in our GIS department at the sewer district have worked to create a GIS online for the community discharge permit program. And so I wanted to share this with you today as we are getting ready to unveil this. We're hoping to have this live in January, and this will make life a lot easier for everyone in creating that community compliance plan and documenting the information that is required. And I think as we roll through this, you will see that it is not as big of a lift as some may fear. So again, this community discharge permit GIS is being developed. It will go live next month, and it will be an excellent resource for all of our member communities to document their information that is required through the new permit, and also a place where we can go in and make updates to the compliance plan. This is a living, breathing document, and we want the compliance plan to be updated as priorities within the local system and the community change. So once this goes live, you will go to the sewer district's website. You will click on our maps and GIS resources, which I hope that you are familiar with, because this is an amazing resource for all of our member communities. On this page, there are multiple GISs and information that is useful to all of our member communities. And when we get our GIS up and running, there will be an icon for the community discharge permit program, and you will click on that, and you'll have to log into your ArcGIS online account. I hope that you all have an ArcGIS online account. If you don't, you will need to reach out to your watershed team leader and we'll get you set up with your account. But you will go into that GIS. You'll see a map of our service area with all of our member communities, and you'll simply click on your community to get started. I reached out to Shaker Heights and asked for permission to use them for this demo. So thank you to Shaker Heights. But you click on the map, then you're going to click on the link for the community compliance plan forms and checklists. This will open a Survey 123 webpage, and it'll bring you here to get started on creating your compliance plan. First thing you'll have to do is select what you're going to be creating. Right now, we're talking about the compliance plan, and I hope that everyone will be checking the lower box as well for the Water Quality Technical Support Program. Down the line, you can also use this for your annual report, the checklist, which is something that you have done for years, and you will continue to do that moving forward, but it'll be through the GIS, which hopefully will make it a lot easier and quicker to get done. So we are just going to bombard you with the Water Quality Technical Support Program. We want to make sure that you know that if you are not participating, that you are foregoing the eligibility for MCIP funding. So, check that box, say yes, and then as you move forward, you're going to identify what year you're creating your compliance plan. Again, this is a 5-year compliance plan. So we want you to be thinking into the future, and we want you to be identifying the priorities of the community, thinking out 5 years. So the way the compliance plan is set up is we simply are following the permit, and we want the community to tell us how they're going to comply with that permit. So right here, these are required prohibitions. So the following actions and activities in the community are prohibited via the following adopted procedures, codes, or ordinances. So 1, the installation of stormwater connections to any separate sanitary sewers, including separate sanitary sewers tributary to the combined sewer system. So all I'm looking for is information that's stating that you are not going to allow stormwater to be connected to your sanitary sewer system. You should all have codes and ordinances identifying this. Shaker Heights has a code right here that simply states that you cannot connect storm sewers into the sanitary sewer. So give me that ordinance, write that down. I don't need to know all of the language. I just need to know that that ordinance is already in place. And if it's not in place, it's got to get in place. And then you'll record that information here. As we move further down, again, these are things that are required prohibitions for the community. So you're not allowed to have changes that result in sanitary service being provided outside NERSD service area without prior approval from NERSD. I don't know why any of our member communities would be providing service outside of the district service area, but we need to know that that regulation exists. And so Shaker, for our example here, the regulation of discharges speaks to that. And so it does not allow service outside of our service area. As we move down a little bit further, now we're talking about any discharges or release from an NERSD CSO outfall that consists of precipitation-related flows where there has not been measurable precipitation or snowmelt event within the preceding 24-hour period. So we don't want dry weather overflows. Okay, this should be something that you already have in your ordinances, but we want to make sure that that exists. So it exists for Shaker Heights via Codified Ordinance 159.01, regulation of discharges. So again, we're not asking you to recreate the wheel. You should already have this information, and this is really a one and done type scenario. Once you identify this regulation, you put it into that compliance plan. I don't anticipate, that changing. So it won't need to be updated in the future. As we move further down, talking more about dry weather overflows, all dry weather overflows from a combined sewer will be reported to the appropriate state or federal agency within the required time frame, including any required follow-up reports in accordance with the requirements of Title IV of the District's Code of Regulations. This will be accomplished via the following processes. So here we want to know that you are going to be notifying us of these dry weather overflows as you are required to notify the appropriate state and federal agencies. So this is not necessarily going to be an ordinance or a code, but more of a process that's already in place, hopefully already in place, and or if it's not, it needs to be in place. So here, it's simply the service director will notify the appropriate agencies and will CC NERSD at that time. So I don't need a whole long paragraph or any documentation associated with this. Just let me know that you have a process in place to address this. Upon the discovery of a dry weather overflow, the following steps will be taken to identify and eliminate the cause. What is that process? Don't already have that process, it needs to be put into place and documented here in your compliance plan. For this example, the service department will investigate and coordinate with the city engineer to determine next steps. Pretty straightforward. We're going to go out and take a look at it, figure out what's going on, determine next steps, and then you're going to communicate back with us. One thing that we're asking you to continue to do, and this is not changing at all, is plan review. For development and redevelopment activities in the community will submit or require applicants to submit the required information to NERSD prior to any construction action. So the following processes will ensure proper submittal. So if you have a development within your community that is looking to connect to the combined sewer system, what is your process to ensure that those plans get submitted to us at the district? So in this example here, we have a process in which the building department will not issue a permit prior to NERSD review. So here the building department knows that if they get plans submitted to them within the combined area, that they need to be submitted to us to review prior to issuing any permit. On the next one, any direct connections to a district sewer, those certainly need to be submitted to us for approval. Certainly hope that none of our member communities are approving pipes being tapped into our interceptors. But here, in this example, the engineer will require NERSD approval for issuing any permits or anything else. So again, simple, straightforward. Let us know that a process exists. Lastly, if there's an extension or replacement of existing local sanitary sewers or construction of a new local sanitary sewer, the engineer will require NURSD approval. So again, we just want the engineer to be aware of folks that are looking to do work within that local system and submit it to us for our approval. And this is the same thing that you have been doing. You should all be doing this. Nothing is changing here. We're just simply documenting the processes here within your compliance plan. Now, again, water quality technical support program. We want to make sure that you are aware that the member community infrastructure program is dependent upon your participation in the water quality technical support program. So you need to click this box, yes, do what's necessary for the water quality technical support program in order to be eligible for MCIP funding. Now, I just want to reiterate that this information that we're requesting of you as part of the Water Quality Technical Support Program is the same information that you have been providing us for many, many years. It's just we are not looking to regulate on it. We're looking to reward you by providing us this information, by making you eligible for MCIP funding. So after you click this box, yes, to participate in the Water Quality Technical Support Program, it'll open up some additional windows in which you will provide us the information that is necessary for the Water Quality Technical Support Program. Now, the first one here is report, prevent, and eliminate or control SSOs. Now, the following process/projects will be used to fully comply with the reporting, prevention, elimination, or control of SSOs per Title III, District's Codes of Regulation. So you should already be addressing your SSOs. You should have a process in place to report and prevent and eliminate your SSOs. Simply provide us that information. So here, I don't know if there's a Shaker SSO elimination plan, if that's the name of it, but I assume that there's documentation here and a plan to address SSOs. Provide us that information on how you are doing this. If you find any new SSO structures, those should be reported to the district. So we want to know how you're going to do that. So the following process will be used to fully comply with the reporting of any new SSOs per Title III, District's Code of Regulations. So here in this example, I said the engineer will notify NURSD within 24 hours of discovery of a new SSO. And per Title III, you will notify me as the Community Discharge Permit Program Manager. And as we jump down a little bit, here we're asking about the process to record and identify and investigate basement backups. So I hope that all of our member communities are using the Sewer District's Report a Flood tool to be documenting all basement backups and the corrective actions that were taken. But if you're not and you're using something else, please provide us that information. Let us know how you are tracking basement backups and also any action that's been taken as well. Make sure that's available to us if requested. IDDEs, the following process will be used to investigate and correct any discharge to separate storm sewers or directly to a receiving water that is not composed entirely of stormwater except for discharges allowed under the MPDS permit, otherwise exempted. So you should all be addressing IDDEs. Again, these are all things that are regulated by others. So if you're not doing them, you need to be doing them because you're going to be in some trouble. But we just want to know that information. So how are you addressing IDDEs? Well, your service department will investigate IDDEs per the MS4 permit and coordinated with NURSD. So give us that information. Let us know how you're currently doing it and what that process is. How do you plan, or how are you addressing septic systems, failing home sewage treatment systems? So the following process or projects will be used to work to address known failing home sewage treatment systems per the local Board of Health's findings. This example, the community will enforce the Board of Health findings and apply for MCIP funds to eliminate failing home sewage treatment systems. So as you can see, the Water Quality Technical Support Program, that was just an example of some of those questions. It's simply documenting the work and the processes that you're already doing. Now, as we move on to projects and the work that we want to see to maintain and improve the local sewer system, here's where you're going to see a difference in participating in the Water Quality Technical Support Program or not participating in the Water Quality Technical Support Program. If you are not participating in the Water Quality Technical Support Program, your focus needs to be on excessive I&I, which is defined as having a 5-year, 1-hour peak flow rate greater than 20,000 gallons per acre day, and causing local or downstream issues, or any peak flows greater than 35,000 GPAD. Now, there might be some of our communities within the that have common trench systems that are saying, whoa, that's most of my system is above 35,000 gallons per acre day. Well, if that's the case, then we ask the community to prioritize peak flows that are greater than 50,000 gallons per acre day. So again, if you are not participating in the Water Quality Technical Support Program, you're choosing not to share your problems with us. So thus, we don't want projects to address those problems. We want projects to address excessive I&I. That's where we have the unmetered flow, and we recognize that unmetered flow is ultimately causing problems, but that's your focus. If you choose to participate in the Water Quality Technical Support Program, then it opens things up into prioritizing problems over the excessive I&I. Now, again, I thank Shaker Heights for allowing us to use them as our guinea pig here today. All of you have your LSSES information available to you, where we have modeled the system and come up with identified problems and solutions, high-level solutions. Here for Shaker Heights, I've identified modeled projected areas with potential basement flooding during the 5-year, 1-hour event. So those are highlighted here. So for this example, what Shaker has decided to do is to work on Ingleside Road between Chagrin and Scottsdale. So this is their priority. It's modeled per the LSSESs. There might be, basement backup call log in this area. It is a priority for Shaker Heights. So this is what they are going to choose to do, even if it is not, the highest area of excessive I&I. Because they're participating in the Water Quality Technical Support Program, this is the problem that they are choosing to focus on. So again, this is a 5-year plan. So we want you to be thinking out what areas are you going to be working on, what work can be done. Let us know that location area. So here it's Ingleside Road from Chagrin to Scottsdale Boulevard. Now, when this goes live, we're looking at adding the map component to it, where you can draw in a little area But we just want to know the location in which the project is going to take place. Next, we want to look at, what that problem is, or, what is the gallons per acre day if it's a simple excessive I&I project and you're not focusing on the problem. Now here, we have 79,213 gallons per acre day, and we have those modeled basement backups during the 5-year 1 hour. So one thing I didn't add was that, source of data. So this is from the LSSES. If you have new data, as I mentioned before, please use that. You're not handcuffed to just using the LSSESs, as we recognize they are getting a little bit dated. We want you to use the best information that you have at hand. What are you going to do about it? So what is the process of excessive I&I mitigation or addressing the problem, and then the estimated schedule? So again, we're thinking 5 years out. So, this can be multiple phases. Here, this example, flow monitoring in 2025 for this area and potential lining in 2026. This can also be, applying for grant funding, whatever you deem necessary to mitigate the problem or the excessive I&I. We want you to put that information in here. So this will probably expand, give you a little bit more information, break out the estimated schedule when we go live. But we also give you space down here to provide supporting documents. Now, you may not have supporting documents. It might be a priority area where you're getting a lot of complaints, and so maybe and I guess there would be some supporting documents of like the basement backups that have been recorded, but we're not looking for like stamped plans here or anything. I want to talk you off the ledge here. Okay, there's going to be different levels of projects in which you have not even started, or others where maybe you have those plans and you're ready to roll. It's going to be determined upon by the priorities of the community and what you have available to you. So simply click on the button to upload those files. Make sure that you name them a name associated with the project so that we know, what those files are. And that's how you will be documenting the projects and the work that you will be telling us that you are looking to do over the next 5 years via the community compliance plan. Once you have completed all of that information and uploaded your supporting documentation, you electronically sign your compliance plan. It'll stamp a date on there and then put in your email, and this will compile all of that information together and email you out your compliance plan. So you will have documentation of all the information that you provided us, and it'll be sent right to you via your email. So again, the community compliance plan is due March 17th of next year. It is valid for 5 years. So be thinking of your priorities for these next few years and what you think you're able to get done within your member community. And this may be updated at any time. This is not a static thing, that is going to be in concrete. As priorities change, as funding mechanisms change and present themselves, we want your compliance plan to be updated with your priorities. So work with me and we will update that compliance plan at any point. As I hope you saw, the Water Quality Technical Support Program is not that big of a lift. It is an add-on, but it is optional. But again, it is simply providing us information on those water quality problems that you have already been reporting on for years and years and years. You need to participate in the Water Quality Technical Support Program in order to be eligible for MCIP funding. So that is all that I have as far as my presentation is concerned. I am available for any questions, and I can take some of those offline, or if you have a general question that you would like to ask, please feel free. But I very much appreciate your time in attending. So I see Jennifer raises her hand. She has a question. Yes, Jennifer.
Quick question. Being that the community compliance plan is valid for 5 years, are we still going to report annually on the discharge permit, or is that obsolete?
No, the checklist will still exist, and that'll be how you provide us, updates on the progress.
So the community discharge permit, the checklist, they are not changing.
No, we're going to put those online as well, but it's going to look very similar to how it has in the past.
Okay, so the only thing that changed, and I want to be clear, I'm sorry if I'm being redundant with my question, is the compliance portion. That's valid for 5 years and updated as needed. And then the checklist, we will do those annually.
That's correct. Thank you for your question. I see David's hand is up.
Yeah, I had a question as far as, if we give you the list of anticipated projects over the next 5 years, and then another project comes up that would qualify for MCIP, but it's not one on our list, will we need to update that list before we can apply for MCIP for that specific project? Or is that kind of on a case-by-case basis?
No, we want to see projects on your list in your compliance plan. So if something comes up, reach out to me as soon as possible, and we'll get that updated in your compliance plan.
Okay, thanks. Nope.
Are there any other questions?
I guess I've got another one. What if we identify an area of an MCIP project that is outside of the LSSES reports?
I mean, that should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, again, I think we just, need to have a little bit of the documentation of how that became a priority area, right, outside of the LSSES. So like Jeff said earlier, any updated information to support those projects is welcome as part of the plan as well.
Thank you, Dave. Andrea's got her hand up.
Thanks. I guess while everyone is here, I just want to make a couple of statements about the LSSESs. First of all, you can find your GPAD very easily summarized in a table in the executive summary of your community report. Also, we include evaluation as mitigation. So if there's an area that you might disagree with being excessive, or you have better information, just evaluating the area is acceptable for the compliance plan as well. And also, I just want to make sure everyone's aware that the LSSESs are planning level, and every project that is in there really should have preliminary engineering involved before designing and constructing. So thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Well, as I'm not seeing any other hands, I assume that everybody is able to answer any questions at the Christmas dinner table about the compliance plan then. I think we're all good, right? Well, I very much appreciate your time this morning and coming out. Please feel free to reach out to me or your watershed team leader with any questions. Again, we are here to help you. Thank you very much. Have a happy, safe holiday season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.